It's Anna. She doesn't understand. She doesn't see that we are twins, that we share everything. I spoke to her. I told her that we could both marry her. But she turned me down. She said no. Amadi stood still for a moment, his expression changing. He placed his hands on his hips, concern shifting to confusion. Once upon a time in a small village named Agoma there lived a set of identical twins, Amadi and Chinedu. They were inseparable from birth, raised by the loving villagers after the untimely death of their parents. The villagers cherished them, seeing twins as a special blessing. The two boys were often referred to as the two who share one soul, for they did everything together. They slept together, ate together, and worked together. They were so alike in appearance that no one could easily tell them apart. However, there were small differences that only the keen-eyed could notice. Amadi had a faint birthmark behind his ear, while Chinedu had his on his elbow. The bond between the brothers was deep, and the villagers admired them for their mutual respect and loyalty. But as they grew, they each took on different trades. Amadi became a cocoa farmer, while Chinedu cultivated coffee. They both worked hard, and their prosperity mirrored the love and community surrounding them. Everything they touched seemed to flourish: crops, cattle, and even their reputations. The young maidens in the village admired the twins. They were handsome, kind-hearted, and successful. But Amadi had his eyes set on Anna, the most beautiful maiden in Agoma. She was graceful, with ebony skin that glistened in the sun and long dark hair that swayed as she walked. Amadi's attraction to her was magnetic, and he pursued her relentlessly. He woke up before dawn to fetch water from the river for her, cleared her farm's weeds, and often left small gifts of flowers or cowries, just to see her smile. In time, he showed her his secret mark behind his ear, revealing his identity and distinguishing him from his brother. The villagers would quietly gossip about how Amadi was often seen leaving his house at first light and returning only at sunset, his thoughts consumed with Anna. But little did Amadi know, Chinedu, his twin brother, had also fallen for Anna. To Chinedu, Anna wasn't just a woman, she was the epitome of beauty. She had everything he desired: grace, charm, and a figure that made his heart race. But the truth gnawed at him: Anna was already Amadi's. And so one day, Chinedu could no longer suppress his feelings. Anna, you and Amadi are everything to me. He may have claimed you first, but we are twins. We share everything. And so I want you too. Anna's face hardened, her smile disappearing. But I love Amadi and only him. You are his brother, not him. I can never choose you both. Chinedu's voice lowered, but the coldness of his words was unmistakable. But Anna, we are twins. We share the same blood, the same soul. We long for the same things. If you choose him, why not choose me too? Why must there be only one of us? Anna's eyes flashed with anger. She stepped back, shaking her head firmly. You're wrong, Chinedu. You might share a womb, but you do not share a life. Amadi is the man I want, and I cannot share him with anyone, not even you. For a moment, Chinedu stood still, staring at the ground. Do you truly believe that, Anna? We're the same in so many ways. I'm just as worthy as him. Why can't you see that? Anna got frustrated and walked away. I will never marry two men. Never. Chinedu stood there, crushed. His heart burned with a fury that only grew as Anna disappeared into the distance. The villagers, having watched this interaction, began to gossip. A group of older women, sitting in the shade of a nearby tree, whispered among themselves. But as Chinedu turned away, a few of the younger men approached him. They looked at him with a mix of pity and understanding. We understand, Chinedu. It's hard, yes, but you must let Anna go. There are other women. No one can have everything, especially not when it comes to a woman like Anna. You can't force her to love you. The words stung. But the truth was worse. The villagers had already taken sides. Amadi had won the woman's heart, and he was left to suffer in silence. That evening, Chinedu returned home, heartbroken. His body felt heavy, and a fever had started to creep up on him. He couldn't eat or drink, his appetite completely lost. He dragged himself into their dark hut and sat down, his face pale with exhaustion. Amadi walked in and saw his twin brother staring into the distance, his hands resting weakly on his lap. Concern filled Amadi's eyes as he placed a plate of food in front of him. "What's the matter, Chinedu?" His voice was soft but filled with worry. "You've been like this since you came back. You haven't said a word or eaten anything. What's going on?" Chinedu looked up slowly, his face a mask of sadness. He rested his hand on his cheek, his eyes distant, as though his mind were somewhere else entirely. A deep sigh escaped him before he finally spoke. "It's Anna. She doesn't understand. She doesn't see that we are twins, that we share everything. I spoke to her. I told her that we could both marry her. But she turned me down. She said no." Amadi stood still for a moment, his expression changing. He placed his hands on his hips, concern shifting to confusion. "What do you mean, we both marry her?" His voice tightened, disbelief creeping in. "You want me to share my wife with you, Chinedu?" His brother looked up at him, bewildered, not understanding why his brother was reacting this way. His voice dropped, almost pleading. "But Amadi, we are twins. We share everything, our life, our work, our dreams. Why can't we share her too? Don't you see? Anna is the kind of woman I want. She's kind, beautiful. She's the only one who makes my heart beat like this. You know that." Amadi raised his hand sharply, silencing Chinedu. His face darkened as he stepped back from the table, his voice hardening. "Please stop." His tone was firm. "I don't know what you're thinking, but you need to stop this. This isn't a joke. There is no way I will share my wife with you, no matter what bond we share. We are twins, yes, but there are lines we cannot cross. We're not meant to share everything. Some things, some people, are just meant to be mine." Chinedu's face fell, his heart sinking with each word. He opened his mouth to respond but couldn't find the words. For a moment, the two brothers stood in silence. Chinedu's mind raced, struggling to understand how his own twin brother could be so unwilling to see things his way. How had things gone so wrong? Why couldn't Amadi understand how deeply he felt for Anna? But instead of confronting his brother further, Chinedu stayed silent. The next day, Chinedu decided he wouldn't give up. He would speak to Anna one last time. He needed to make her understand. They were twins, identical in every way. If she loved Amadi, surely she could love him too. The bond they shared couldn't be ignored. When Chinedu approached Anna that afternoon, she was standing by the river, collecting water. Her beauty seemed to shimmer in the golden light of the setting sun, but this time, to Chinedu, she seemed untouchable. "Anna, please. If you truly care for my brother, then why not consider me too? We're identical. We share the same heart, the same soul. Nothing will change. Please, just give us both a chance." Anna turned slowly, her expression soft but firm. She shook her head, and Chinedu could see the sadness in her eyes. "I've told you before. I can't. I don't care if you are identical to Amadi, you are still different. You share a womb, but not a life. There's a bond between you two that I can never be a part of. Please, I've made my decision." Chinedu felt his chest tighten. He reached out, his voice desperate. "But Anna, you're telling me that you love him, and not me? I don't love you the way I love Amadi. You may share the same features, but you don't share the same soul. Please, leave me be. I can't do this." As she turned and walked away, Chinedu stood there, lost in his emotions, as the villagers watched from a distance, whispering among themselves. Some of the villagers tried to console Chinedu, but the reality was bitter and unrelenting. They urged him to step aside for his brother, reminding him that Amadi had made his intentions known first. Yet, despite their words, the pain in Chinedu's heart grew heavier with each passing day. No one had shared the kind of bond he had with Amadi. There was something about his twin brother that Chinedu couldn't put into words. Something that made him feel unworthy and rejected in the shadow of his brother's presence. Months passed, and Amadi and Anna got married, settling into their new home, the same one that Amadi had once shared with his twin brother. Chinedu stayed in the house, though it felt like a ghost of what it once was. He would stay up at night, silently watching the couple share stories, feeling the burn of frustration in his chest. During the day, he forced himself to smile, pretending that everything was fine. The villagers believed he had moved on, that his jealousy and heartache were behind him. But the truth was, Chinedu had not let go. He soon married a maiden, though she was nothing like the woman who had captured his heart. The two of them lived together, but Chinedu's mind was never fully present. He compared his wife's slender frame to the fullness that Anna possessed. His wife, troubled by his distant behavior, began to whisper in the quiet moments after their arguments. "Before marrying me, you knew I wasn't like her," she would murmur, voice tinged with pain. "You knew I wasn't as endowed as your brother's wife. So why treat me this way?" Chinedu would remain silent, his guilt gnawing at him. He had to do something, anything, to ease the torment he felt. The villagers spoke in hushed tones about his marriage, seeing it as a way for him to move forward. But the ache inside him remained. Desperate, Chinedu traveled to a far-off village to consult with a native doctor, hoping for some kind of solution to his unrelenting torment. When he arrived at the healer's hut, he presented his problem, the burden on his chest threatening to crush him. The doctor, listening carefully, nodded slowly before offering his advice. "Your brother is a kind man," the doctor said, his voice low. "You are twins, yes, but you are different. You share a womb, but your souls are not the same. If you wish to have his wife, you must take his life. Then you must exchange souls with him. Only then will she accept you the way she accepted him." Chinedu absorbed the words carefully, though a part of him felt horrified by the idea. He struggled with the notion of killing his brother, but the desire for Anna, and the barrier his brother represented, clouded his mind. The next morning, Amadi was found dead. It was a shock to the entire village, and Anna was left devastated, unable to comprehend the tragedy. The villagers gathered, whispering in disbelief. For them, it felt like a nightmare. And among them was Chinedu, his grief the deepest of all. He cried louder than anyone else, hiding the guilt that consumed him. But despite his grief, something changed within Anna. She began to feel an undeniable pull toward her late husband's twin brother. She couldn't explain it, but when Chinedu was near, she felt Amadi's presence, as if he were still there. Unable to resist, Anna found herself drawn to Chinedu. She could no longer deny the connection she felt with him, and Chinedu, sensing this, immediately went to her family, paying her bride price and vowing to carry on his brother's legacy. The village rejoiced, seeing it as a union born from tragedy, but one that would restore balance. Months later, Anna conceived a child, and as the pregnancy progressed, Chinedu's inner torment began to escalate. He couldn't sleep at night. His brother's spirit seemed to haunt him, demanding to be recognized, demanding to be acknowledged. One night, Anna stood in their home, shock painted on her face as she listened to her husband mutter in his sleep, calling out to his dead twin brother. His words were fragmented, desperate. He seemed to be pleading with Amadi, asking him to leave him alone. The villagers, concerned, began advising Anna to return to her parents' house, fearing that Amadi's spirit was refusing to let his brother move on. That night, the sound of Chinedu talking to his late twin echoed through their home. He argued, shouted, and cried in a way that terrified Anna. As Chinedu lay on his sickbed, he confessed to the village, revealing the depths of his jealousy and obsession. "I wanted Anna. I couldn't stand it. I was consumed by my own darkness, my own jealousy of Amadi," he sobbed, his voice filled with regret. "I took him from you, Anna. I killed him to have you. Please forgive me. I exchanged souls with him just so you could love me. Please, forgive me." The village was in shock, unable to comprehend the extent of Chinedu's actions. But his confession, his raw vulnerability, seemed to bring some measure of peace to his tortured soul. His body weakened, and soon, he died. His spirit, finally at rest, was reunited with his brother. Anna gave birth to a son, naming him Amadi after her first husband. Though her heart still ached from the loss of both men, she found solace in the child she brought into the world. Her parents, though grieving, rejoiced at the birth of their grandson, and the villagers looked on in wonder at the story of the twins, two brothers, bound by blood, torn apart by love, and ultimately reunited in death. Anna lived on in the village, her tale becoming a cautionary story for all the mothers who bore twins, a story of love, obsession, and the painful consequences of desire. The moral lesson of this tale is that while the bond between twins is special, it is crucial to respect each other's individuality and avoid letting jealousy or obsession cloud judgment. Love should be based on selflessness and respect, and attempting to control or possess someone can lead to tragic consequences. The story teaches that healthy boundaries, honesty, and understanding are essential to maintaining strong and meaningful relationships, especially among those who share a deep connection. Thank you for watching our tale. If you enjoyed the story and would love to see more, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.